here we go. Welcome back, homeowners. This is Conticia from Beyond the Claim, Unfiltered Insurance and Adjuster Talk. Now, I'm still at you all regarding hurricane season, right? About us being prepared. And I'm going to go in a little bit deeper in this episode so we can understand what prepared looks like. And I also have a video to show you when you're prepared. This is when your home will have less damage. And I'm going to show you how this man prepared, right? Through Hurricane Michael. I had to go in some archives and pull up some videos of those whose homes survived and what action that he took. But first, you all already know what I'm going to talk about. I just got to bring it to your attention. I have to share this with you. If you see something, say something. Report suspected child trafficking, child sex trafficking. Call the Human National Trafficking Hotline at 1-888-373-7888. Every voice matters. Every child deserves protection. You know, it's just something that we ought to do as human beings, you would think. And then our children are the most vulnerable. They're the most impressionable. So I do know the assignment is to get to our children first. And you can't really trust anyone at this point. Me personally, the church, the wolves are in the church, women or other children that are teaching your child something that they learned somewhere else. You have to be very, very protective of your child. And I'm going to say it again, sleepovers, no. You don't do sleepovers anymore. If you send your child to a sleepover and something happened, to me, that's on you. Because you should know good and well right now, no sleepovers, unless you're just so desperate for some alone time. You better get them to with someone who you trust if you really want to protect your child. And I'm going to bring this to you all because I always have to give you all an example of why I say this, and I'm just a protector of these children. And I just want to bring to the stage another video so you can see what this really looks like. Someone who advocates for children, someone who understands what the assignment is and have.
Do you know the number one
Here it is right
offender?
here.
Biological fathers. Every red dot on that map is at least one unique IP address. Your average offender has 13 victims in their lifetime.
12 and under.
Over 3,000 of them were infants or toddlers.
Infants and toddlers. How are they supposed to protect themselves? Infants and toddlers. How? We have to protect these children. If you're going to have these children, you better protect them. That's just the bottom line. They're there for you to protect them, not for you to leave them unprotected. Those days and those times are over. We're all educated to know that these wolves, they're out there and they're hidden in plain sight. And their goal is to infiltrate your child and in anything concerning your children so they can continue to spread that behavior. I'm telling you guys, I charge parents, grandparents, whomever that are over children, you got to understand what the responsibility is to your child. You just can't do it anymore. All right. So sorry to get so passionate about it, but I just have to because these kids are vulnerable and they need us. All right. So, hey, let's hop into our episode. Now, when it comes to the storms or homeowners, you definitely want to brace for impact, right? But what if I told you that preparing your home for hurricane season doesn't just keep your family safe? It could actually save you money. Today, we are going to go deeper into how your hurricane preparation is more than just protection, right? It's financial stress. It's like a stress test, right? And we're going to get right on into this episode, pretty much about preparing and the prep work and protection. Because I want to tell you something. Most homeowner thinks preparing for hurricane is sandbags and bottled water and plywood, but insurers paying attention to something bigger, the risk. The more resilient your home, the less your risk is, the less you are a risk to them. In many cases, the lower your premium or deductibles can be. We're talking about things like installing hurricane shutters, reinforcing garage doors, roof upgrades. Those roofs now that can withstand high winds, emergency. You definitely want to get those new roofs. I think they're like the class 4. When you get those roofs, your contractor give you a certificate that you give to your agent. You definitely want to do that, because I review those certificates all the time, as an adjuster that the contractor are sending in, and then I go ahead and forward it to the agent, because you're supposed to get a discount for upgrading to those roofs that can definitely sustain high winds. Emergency backup generators. These aren't just safety measures. I'm going to tell you something. That last hurricane that went through Florida, a couple of my aunts, their homes was without power. I think it was like 2 of them. They're pretty much almost on the same side of the city. Their home was without power. And for some reason, when older people homes are without power or whatever, it's like they don't want to leave their home. And I'm not saying these people are really old. I think they just get so set in their comfortability at home, they would prefer to stay in their home with the lights out. They sure did. They stayed at home, even though they had family members who had lights and had enough room for them. And was like, let's go, come. And they so stuck to their own home, and just being comfortable in their home, to where they were comfortable without the lights, which was interesting. Because me personally, I know I would have been over to another one of my aunt's house, because they're inviting, they're open to let you in, but they get so comfortable at their own home. But I tell you one thing, a measure that they took, they have generators. They have installed, I think, underground generators now, both of them. They have their little pretty outdoor summer kitchens and all that, but now they have installed those generators, because they learned a lesson. They said, no, 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 I'm not going to be without my lights. And I'll tell you another thing, with those generators, those insurance companies will look at that as, that's less risk, because we don't have to pay for food loss. The longer those lights are out, the longer, that the meat are spoiling, all kind of food is spoiling, you deep freeze another freezer. That's also going to be additional cost. That's your personal property. So if you do have those generators, that's another cost that the insurance company know that they don't have to take a risk on. And when you're getting insurance now, they ask you, do you have a generator? Those are things that they're looking at, because they're looking at properties that have the less risk. And those are the properties that they're giving the less deductibles. You have the less premiums. So really getting your home prepared for hurricane season, it goes beyond those sandbags. It goes beyond the plywood. There's signals to your insurers that you're lowering your odds of a costly claim, because the claims can get costly. Some of these claims, you guys, and I know a lot of times I'm hearing customers say to me, well, I paid my money to you, or I paid my premium, I have insurance. And I look and said, most of them, you haven't paid into what it's going to cost to fix your home, but it is due to you, though, right? It is due to you, because you probably make $2,000 or $3,000 a year for a premium, right? And then so you have a hurricane come through, and you're getting a whole new home built, 500,000, 600,000. You haven't paid nearly that, but that's what's due to you. So listen, you want to make sure you get these homes in the best condition for yourself to save money. And you don't have to worry about all this replacing and going through the hassle of a large loss claim and documentation and sending in this and that. If you really take the time to get your home better prepared, that will save you time and money. I'm telling you. Did you also know that some states actually require insurers to give discounts for wind mitigation improvements, like those roofs I was telling you about? Windows. I think next week I'm going to get a window expert on, so we can talk about windows and doors that will help us as homeowners for when those storms come, or efficiency with our light bills and heating bills. But see, these states here, They make these insurers give you discount. If you live like in Florida, Louisiana, or Texas, those roof straps and fortified windows, they aren't just about weather. They're about lowering your risk scores. But here's the catch. If you have to document, if you have the documentation, take it to them. They wouldn't know that you have these upgrades. A lot of times we get these upgrades in and make our houses look so cute, but they're also the windows that protect from wind, and you have not let your agent know. You got to let your agent know. Document that you have it. Email it to them. Take it to their office. Demand your discount. Also, take photos of your new upgrade. Keep your receipts. Send updates to your insurer. If you don't tell them, they won't know. And another thing is that you could be missing out on savings. You're going to have to do something. The cost of doing nothing is real. It is real. You know, you don't want to skip the prep. I mean, it can cost you double. Why? Because when you ignore home improvements, you're more likely to have major damage. And when you file that claim, the claim insurer may raise your premium later. Worse, you know they'll drop you. They will drop those high-risk homes entirely. If they come around and see that your roof is warm, they will send you a letter in the mail and let you know you have such and such time to get a new roof, or we are going to cancel your coverage. They will cancel it. I've had plenty of State Farm customers call in and tell me that they got a letter about that the policy is going to be canceled. They don't get a new roof. These insurers are trying to limit their costs. They're really trying to take an initiative to make sure that they mitigate their own costs. Because if they can get you to update these things before a storm, then it will definitely mitigate the damages, right? So, you know, for high risk homes that don't make upgrades, so the question is, can you afford it to prepare? Or is it not affordable? I think, me personally, it's something that you cannot afford not to do, right? I think it's a financial strategy. Think of hurricane prep as a financial stress test for your home. The stronger your home, the stronger your finances. Insurance isn't just about building resilience, you know, before anything hit. If you're going to invest in something like a home, you want to invest in and keep your investment up and not let it just go by the wayside. I want to show you this video of this home that survived a Hurricane Michael, and I want you to hear him talk about what they did ahead of time and what they learned to do for the next time.
Homeowner Russell King was out of town.
We were in Tennessee watching it on camera.
As the hurricane's eye sped toward the Panhandle's coast, King's eye was glued to his security cameras, which captured it all.
It was awful. The camera got turned around upstairs, so then we got to watch the pier and all the homes on the pier street on 37th get wiped out.
The home he and his nephew had built just a year prior was one of just 2 still inhabitable on his street.
We did the things that we could that we thought would increase survivability.
That included leaving vinyl out of the design process.
There's not a stick of vinyl, a piece of vinyl in this house anywhere.
A full hip roof where all sides sloped downwards to the walls, and hundreds of hurricane clips.
We got all those Simpson clips. There's probably $3,000 in hurricane clips up there now.
To sustain 250 mile-an-hour winds. The Panhandle's code is for 120 miles an hour, and Michael's gusts reached 150. The home sustained minor damage, a broken outdoor fan and a bit of flooding, along with 2 cracked windows. It was the strength of the glass in those windows, King says, that spared the home.
This got hit by we don't know what, maybe one of our own pavers, something from the neighborhood, we don't know. We lose this window, we could lose this house.
Now explain why.
Because when this window's compromised, the wind comes in, it's looking for what to do next. And it'll tear your roof off, which is, I'm afraid, happened to his house here.
What's next for King is learning from the mistakes that he did make.
We had an indoor-outdoor fan, it's supposed to be just fine, but we learned the hard way, don't put in a fan. outside in an unenclosed area.
The wind ripped the fan down and the ceiling with it. Plus, no more outlets in the ceiling.
The ceiling outlet now has been moved from the ceiling to the wall. We moved it over here, tied it in, as tight as we can.
And more hurricane clips.
That's all new wood, all with Simpson clips all over it. Everywhere we can find where there's not a hurricane clip, we're putting in a Simpson hurricane clip.
To ensure the house built for the big one can make it through the next one. In Mexico Beach.
Now that's the form of preparing. And see, that's what we have to get to. And I know that it costs. And that's why I say if we start investing in our homes and understand that, risk come, we don't know how this weather is going to be. We don't know what's really going to happen. The weather is so unstable right now. But if you start doing little things like those hurricane clips, have someone go through and start putting those hurricane clips in there. Also learning not to put that fan on the outside. That was something that was really good information, because I know I'm thinking about putting a pergola on my back deck and I wanted me an outdoor fan. But see, when I'm thinking about it, maybe that's not what I need. That would be another risk that I am bringing on. I'm going to tell you something. We can learn from the past. This was Hurricane Michael. And so what he said, I want to make sure I correct some things for the next big one so we can withstand that one. And did you see that window he was tapping on? Something hit that window, but it didn't break it. That was a hurricane window. And that's why I said, I think next week I am going to bring on a window expert so we can talk about the windows and the doors and shutters, those things like that will fortify our homes to make them better. By investing in prep now, you're protecting your home, your family, and guess what? Your bank account. I know I definitely want my bank account to be protected at this point in age and day and time. Absolutely. Now, what did we learn today? We learned today that prep isn't just about safety. It's about saving money. Insurers reward resilience, but only if you tell them. Doing nothing could cost you more in the long run. Homeowners, take this season as your stress test. Get prepared, get documented, get protected. Don't forget, you can grab our free claim game plan toolkit for homeowners in the description below and drop a comment. Have you ever made an upgrade that lowered your insurance? Let's talk about it. Let us know. We're all homeowners. We're in this together and we're learning. All right. I'll see you guys on the next episode. Take care.